College football fans, welcome back or welcome in to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, the channel created by the college football fan for the college football fan, the channel where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks. It's great to be back with each and every one of you. I've got a very special episode on tap today for you. This is my big preview and picks episode of the 2024 Music City Bowl between the Iowa Hawkeyes and the number 19 ranked Missouri Tigers. And I am so pumped up for this matchup, and I was immediately when they announced this matchup, because yours truly will be in the building. That's right, Nissan Stadium, Music City, Nashville, Nash Vegas. Be on alert, because I will be around and looking to have a good time to clown around. All right, so before I say anything else, I'd like to say belated Merry Christmas to you and yours. I hope you all had a great Christmas holiday. I hope Santa was excellent and great to each and every one of you. For those who traveled, whether it be over the road or in the skies above, I hope your travels were safe and without any sort of issue or stress. So I'm sorry I've been away for a little while with all of the hustle and bustle of the holiday. And plus, I finally have gotten over this sinus infection. So it's great to be back. All right. And I cannot wait to break down this big matchup. And before I say anything else, thank you for all that you have done for the channel this past college football season. It has been another huge, overwhelming success thanks to you. So please, let's continue to trend in the right direction. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, rate. Go ahead and put the word out there to your fellow college football fans, your family members, your coworkers, to check me out here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. It would be much appreciated. And as always, I always welcome, encourage, and ask for your involvement and your comments. So please feel free to get involved. Comment below, and I will get back to each and every one of you via those comments individually much sooner than later. And I cannot wait to hear from you, because remember, you are the ones who drive these episodes. It is an absolute pleasure for me to be here with you each and every week, just sharing my love and passion for all things college football with you, my fellow college football brothers and sisters. So please get involved, comment, like, share, subscribe, rate. Can't wait to hear from you. All right, so before we go, I go ahead and break down the Music City Bowl matchup here between the black and gold squads of Iowa and Missouri, just to kind of get the conversation going here in the comment section. I'm just curious. I want to know what your favorite Christmas movie is. I mean, this is something that there is no right or wrong. I'm just curious to want to know, as far as who I'm speaking to, who I'm connecting with. Let me know what your favorite holiday movie is. If it's one of the many versions of A Christmas Carol, please let me know, as far as who was Ebenezer Scrooge, if it's Alistair Sim or George C. Scott, or Michael Caine from the Muppet Christmas Carol even, or Jim Carrey from the animated, Sir Patrick Stewart. Let me know as far as that. Or if you happen to be more a fan of the Christmas comedy, is it Elf? Is it National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? Or if you are more of a sentimentalist around this time of year, are you one who's all about George Bailey and Company and It's a Wonderful Life? Or maybe Miracle on 34th Street? I want to hear from you. Let me know. And also, I want to start a great debate. Here's the question that I ask of you, the Touchdown Black and Gold family. Die Hard. Is it or is it not a Christmas movie? I want to hear your opinion, and I can't wait to get back to those. All right? So let's go ahead and get on with the episode. I'm going to go ahead and break down this matchup. And like I said, It's going to be good on good. It's black and gold versus black and gold. Two border programs going at it. The last time they met was in the 2010 Insight Bowl, where Iowa was able to upset Blaine Gabbert-led Missouri in that great game out there in the desert. And prior to that meeting, the last time they met on the gridiron was over 100 years ago. So there really, surprisingly, isn't a lot of history between these two programs given their proximity to each other. Right? It's really kind of one of those mind-boggling things. And the reason why I'm so excited, other than going to the game, is my location. I mean, if you've been with me previously, you know I grew up in Northwest Illinois, about an hour and 5 minutes due east of Iowa City. But now I currently reside in the Show Me State here in Missouri, about an hour almost due west of St. Louis. So the proximity where I am, it's going to be an entertaining game. I have numerous friends, family members, coworkers who are Mizzou fans or Mizzou alums. So either way, it's going to be a great topic of discussion moving forward, regardless of the outcome of this game. So I cannot wait. Super, super excited. And if you happen to see me there at Nissan Stadium, go ahead, give me a holler. Let me know what you think about the channel and the episodes. And I can't wait to make your acquaintance personally, face to face. All right. So this is what we've got. We've got the number 19 Missouri Tigers, 9-3 overall. They were 5-3 in SEC conference play, squaring off with Iowa, who was 8-4 overall, 6-3 in Big Ten conference play. Currently, the over-under for this game, it's something. It is currently at 40.5 points, and Missouri is a slight favorite. It has fallen to Missouri a 2.5 point favorite. I believe this game opened up Missouri a 7.5 point favorite, and it has steadily declined. So really, if it's a 2.5 point spread, it's really what Vegas is telling us, that this is really a toss-up game. Expect this to be a very, very close, competitive game. That's what they're telling us, and that's really what I expect. All right? And as far as that over-under 40.5, I've got a feeling it's actually going to go below that. I think Vegas just happens to know something. And when it comes down to Iowa with these low over-under totals, they really seem to really get it right. I mean, it comes down to Iowa, like doing the limbo. How low can you go? All right, that's really what it seems to be. And Vegas, more often than not, has absolutely nailed that. All right, so that's the overall summary of this matchup. Now, how I expect this game to go out. Well, it is the new way of the college football world. The two best players, one from each team, is opting out as they prepare for the upcoming NFL draft. And I know some people don't like this new system of the new world of the college football that we live in, but you can't really falter a young man for making this decision, because this is a bowl game, and every bowl game does mean something, even though the last few seasons they have started to kind of maybe dwindle what the importance is. But this is not a bowl game for the really big prizes. It's not the college football playoff. It's not the Natty title. So with wide receiver Luther Burden III for Missouri sitting out and running back Caleb Johnson for Iowa opting out, we can't blame them. All right, but it does take away some of the intrigue for this matchup when each team's best player has opted out and decided not to play. But I like to thank both of them for their contribution to their programs. I've really enjoyed watching Luther Burden III, the local kid, really blossom at nearby Columbia with Missouri. I mean, he was as advertised his freshman year. He was a little bit slow out of the gate, but has gotten better and better every year. And Caleb Johnson, really out of nowhere this year for Iowa, really putting at times that offense on his back while rushing for 21 touchdowns and 1,500 plus yards. So congratulations, thank you for all you've done, and we wish you nothing but luck at the next level. All right? So, how I see this game playing out, I think it's going to be a very, very low scoring affair. The weather is looking absolutely beautiful. I mean, they're talking about highs in the mid to upper low to mid 60s on Monday the 30th when this game kicks off. There's no bad weather potential the day before or day after, in case you're going to be traveling down to Music City. So weather should not be a factor, which this time of year we do have to take that into consideration. I mean, just ask Tennessee about that after their bludgeoning up there in Columbus against Ohio State. All right. But so weather will not be a factor. But I think especially in the first half, these two programs, these two head coaches really kind of come from maybe the same tree, all right? They both want to do the exact same thing. They want to control the lines of scrimmage. They want to establish a run game to set up play action or the opportunity to take some shots downfield, all right? So I think in the first half, you're really going to see two teams really kind of poke and prod, kind of feel each other out a little bit and really try to establish controlling the line of scrimmage via that rushing attack, all right? And when you look at some of the stats for both Missouri and Iowa, I mean, they almost kind of mirror each other as far as total sacks and some penalties. There are some advantages, all right? But they have a lot in common. All right, and I really expect, that's why I do expect that total to be below that 40.5. All right, so the prime players or players to watch in this game, it all starts and ends at that QB position. Starting with Iowa, we do get backup quarterback Brendan Sullivan is now back. He is healthy. The last time he played was in that second half at UCLA when he suffered a high ankle sprain. So he missed the last two games of the season against Maryland and Nebraska. But he is back. He is expected to start. And his backup will be Jackson Stratton, the former fourth string walk-on quarterback who was 2-0 in his limited time as Iowa starter. So Brendan Sullivan is back. I mean, he absolutely looked like the Energizer Bunny out there. Iowa's offense looked absolutely more crisp, way more effective, and way more dangerous when he was under center. It's just a shame that maybe he didn't get under center sooner in the season. We kind of had to wait until Cade McNamara went out with that concussion against Northwestern, a game that yours truly was also in attendance for at Kinnick Stadium. But it was great to see him come out there and lead this offense. So he will give Iowa the best chance to compete and ultimately maybe win this matchup. On the other side for Missouri, you have the veteran, highly talented, skilled Brady Cook. Brady Cook is back. He's been banged up most of the year. He suffered ankle injuries, wrist injuries. This is his last game in a Missouri uniform, and he's definitely going to want to go out on a high note, because if Missouri does win this game, that'll give them back-to-back 10-win seasons for only the third time in program history. And this is a cat who's been in a lot of big-time games, especially last year's Cotton Bowl victory over Ohio State. So Brady Cook knows how to win, all right? And these two really are very similar to each other. Both of them have no problems tucking the ball, turning it upfield and creating something, or rolling the pocket and extending plays. They're both very good with their feet. But when it comes down to that vertical pass attack, there's no real comparison. Brady Cook has that because he has way more experience. He does have better weapons on that offense to complement him. So Brady Cook, when it comes down to the quarterback advantage, definitely that goes to Missouri. And there's no doubt about that. Okay? Now, the rest of the offenses for these two teams, getting back with Iowa, we do lose, Caleb Johnson, the nation's one of the best rushers in the entire nation. I mean, his his stats are going to be very difficult to replicate or replace, and quite frankly, there is no replacing it. You just can't. You can't simply replace what we got here? 1,500 yards and 21 rushing touchdowns, but that's going to go to his two primary backups who step into the limelight, Kamari Moulton and Jazzy Patterson. These guys did split the reps with Caleb Johnson this season. So I think they can at least step up and still keep that rushing attack going for Iowa. Maybe not to that high level that it was with Caleb Johnson out there, but it helps that Iowa's offensive line is still primarily intact. There's been no transfer portal entries. None of them are opting out, and they are veteran and very, very experienced. So I think the rushing attack for Iowa still can have some success if they just play Iowa football. All right? Now, the rushing attack on the other side, and this is really going to be, I think, the really intriguing matchup, because both of these teams are going to try to pound that rock, all right, to wear down their opponent and then take those chances downfield. Missouri is completely healthy in the offensive backfield, led by their stud running back, Nate Noel, Marcus Carroll, Jamal Roberts. These guys are all going to be able to tote that rock. I mean, Nate Noel led the team with 804 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns. Marcus Carroll is really more or less that ground and pound, that big play back who can really get through that hole as far as I'm going to run over you and through you. Marcus Carroll, 578 yards with 12 rushing touchdowns. So it's really, I think, going to be decided on the ground. I mean, whoever wins that matchup and control the line of scrimmage, control time of possession, I think that's going to be the deciding factor. And like Iowa, Missouri's offensive line is also very tenured, also very experienced. Now, they do have one individual who has opted out to prepare for the NFL, but I don't see this being much of an effect on that Missouri offensive line. And I cannot, being a Big Ten guy, an Iowa guy, I love seeing matchups like this. I mean, I know it can be a little bit boring, all right, as far as just seeing the ground and pound game, but I love it. I mean, this is not going to be a 50-45 kind of ball game. There's not going to be that much offensive fireworks. It's just not going to happen, okay? And if you expect that, then I'm sorry, this is not the game for you. And for some of you who love that high-powered offense, this might be maybe a good game to take a little cat nap, okay? Because it's not going to have that, but it's going to be a good game, all right? Now, as far as the perimeter weapons for each team, the advantage for this highly goes still to Missouri. Now, Missouri will be without some of their major playmakers, and this is where I think Missouri they could have had and still have an advantage over the Iowa defense. The Iowa defensive backfield has not been very Iowa-like this year. Iowa's best cornerback, Jamari Harris, is another person who has opted out for this game to prepare for the NFL draft, and they have been susceptible to that big play this season in that Iowa defensive backfield. Now, Missouri is going to be without, as I mentioned, Luther Burden III, also another one of their legit wide receivers. Mookie Cooper is out with an injury. So is their very reliable, trusty, sure-handed tight end, Brendan Norfleet, is out also with an injury. But their best, most consistent wide receiver, Theo Weiss Jr., is in. He's got, I think, 61 grabs this year for Missouri. He does lead them in receptions. 55 receptions. He was second behind Luther Burden III, but Theo Weiss also has 3 touchdowns. But he's really, the last couple of years, and I've told my buddies who I've watched the Mizzou games with, that guy is the most reliable receiver. He doesn't have that big play, dynamic possibility, explosion of athleticism and speed that Luther Burden III has, but if the ball's catchable, he's going to catch it. He's kind of like Chris Carter. For some of you old boys like me or a little bit older who remember Chris Carter for the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, I've told people my entire life, if I had only one pass to throw, if it's 4th and goal inside the 10, if I had to choose one receiver, it's not going to be Jerry Rice. It's going to be Chris Carter, because if it was catchable, he was going to catch it. And that's what Theo Ruiz Jr. reminds me of, okay? So I still believe that Missouri has the slight advantage with perimeter players, even though they are going to be a little bit short-handed. But Iowa has proven yet again this year that their best threat down the field comes via the tight end. Luke Lachey, Addison Ostrenga, they will get their grabs in this game. And I think if Iowa has to dink and duck them underneath against Mizzou, then I think Iowa just needs to take that. Take what the Missouri defense will give you, but they're still going to primarily want to set up their big plays via the run. All right? So I still can't wait to see this. It's going to be such an awesome matchup. I'm telling you. Some people, and I think a lot of Mizzou fans, no disrespect, when they saw this matchup get unveiled, they were kind of disappointed. And I don't see how you can do that. I mean, I already said the reasons why. The proximity, your border programs. There's a big contingent of Iowa fans here in Missouri, a good number of Missouri fans in Iowa. It's going to be a good matchup, okay? And I don't understand why they were so disappointed, right? I just don't. But anyway, now other matchups that I can't wait to watch as far as the linebackers, I mean, it's going to be good versus good. I mean, the Missouri linebacker, Corey Flagg Jr., I mean, the guy is a tackling machine, 34 solo tackles, 76 total this year, 2 sacks. The guy is all over the field, all right, he is. And also Tristan Newsome, his partner in crime, 64 total tackles. They're all over the field, these guys. And on the Iowa side, you have the All-American, excuse me, a little too much potatoes here this morning. But on the other side, you've got All-American Jay Higgins, 118 total tackles this year. I mean, the guy's a human highlight reel. Every highlight of the Iowa defense, he's in the picture, whether it's directly or indirectly. He also has 4 interceptions this year. And his partner in crime, Nick Jackson, 83 total tackles. I mean, it's going to be great to see. If you're a fan of linebackers like I am, this is going to be a great game to watch. I mean, there's going to be a lot of hitting going on. Whole lot of hitting going on, all right? Now, the advantage that I see Iowa having is via the special teams. And these things do not lie, especially from the kicking game, all right? When you look at the kicking game for these two teams, Drew Stevens for Iowa, as far as extra points, he's 37 of 37 this year, has had no issues, all right? Now, field goals. Drew Stevens for Iowa has attempted 22 field goals this year, and he's converted on 19 of those. So pretty legit, all right? Now, when you look at the Missouri side, as far as their kicking game, their kicker, who is Blake Craig, he is 33 of 34 on extra point attempts, so he has missed 1. But field goal attempts, yikes, he's attempted 32, and he's converted only 22 of those. So that really could be glass half empty, half full. You could say, well, he's missed more because he's attempted more. I get that. But absolutely the kicking game, this is advantage Iowa. And Caden Weigand, Iowa's punt returner. I mean, the guy's dynamite. He's like Cooper DeJean 2.0, and Cooper absolutely killing it at the next level with the Philadelphia Eagles. Weigand has a punt return touchdown this year. The guy is instant offense, instant playmaking. So that's the one big advantage Iowa has. And that could end up being a huge advantage if this game plays out the way that I see it, a very, very close nip and tuck, push and pull kind of game, is that kicking game. And then setting up your offense via the punt, all right? All right, so the other stat that I want to share with you, and this is the one that does kind of grab my eye. Actually, there's two. When you look at turnover margin, I mean, I thought that maybe Missouri was a little bit better at this, but they've only accomplished, or recorded, I should say, 6 interceptions this season, while Iowa, I believe, has intercepted 16 opposing quarterbacks' throws. So there's a huge discrepancy there. Also, penalty yards. When we look at that, this is another one, because games like this could come down to who plays the cleanest and who plays the most discipline. That Iowa, well, this year, let's start, I got Missouri up right now. Missouri, their penalties, they total yards, they've 67 total penalties this season, and average yards per game is 49 penalty yards. So not terrible, but not really great either. But when you look at Iowa's side of that, and this is going to be, it's going to come down to it. Who's going to play cleaner, smarter, and better? That Iowa has 36 total penalties all season, one of the least or fewest penalized teams in the nation, and their average penalty yards per game only 28. So that could be a big time factor in setting up how this game plays out as well. Turnover ratio, Iowa has a positive 13, so they have created a good amount of turnovers this year. And for the most part, they have taken care of the ball. While on the flip side, the black and gold of Missouri, they have a turnover ratio of +7. So those stats highly go advantage Iowa. And I think Iowa's going to need to rely on that to secure the victory in this matchup. All right? Please comment. Let me know what you think. Missouri fans, you're more than welcome here. Iowa fans, I want to hear from all of you, or any of you college football fans. So please get involved, like, share, comment, subscribe. I can't wait to hear from you. So now let's get on to my prediction. All right? I already told you, I think this game is going to go low. It's basically the stock market. You want to go ahead and buy low or that limbo. How low can you go, right? I think it's going to be a lack of explosive plays. I think both defenses will be very sound. I think that whoever can generate more of those big plays of 25 plus yards, I think they're the ones, that's the team that's going to come out on top. Who takes care of the ball? You know, you take care and you covet that football. You're able to establish that run game and get the other team off the field. I think Iowa will do very well defensively. I think they will be able to slow down Missouri's potent offense, which it is very potent compared to Iowa's offense, even though this Iowa offense is much better than Iowa seasons of recent history, of recent past, okay? And it kind of surprised me when I looked at points per game, because the passing yards per game, I'm not going to even mention that. It's so one-sided favoring Missouri. You would think, wow, how does this happen? Missouri is at 29.1 points per game, while Iowa is just right behind them at 28 points per game. So I think Iowa, once again, that's because of that rushing attack that they are absolutely counting on, all right? But when it comes down to it, I think Missouri will be able to produce a few more big plays. I think even though they are going to be a little bit shorthanded in their perimeter attack, I just have to roll with the more experienced and just the higher skilled quarterback, all right? Because in these games, that's really what it comes down to. When both squads are missing dudes due to opt-outs, transfer portal, or injuries, a lot of the times it comes down to who is going to be the best player on the field. And I think on Monday's matchup, it will be Brady Cook, who also happens to be the most important position in all of football at QB for Missouri. Now, if something happens, if Brady Cook comes back and isn't quite healthy after being banged up, or if he happens to re-aggravate those injuries, then I think Iowa can and will win this game. because I think then Iowa will just try to out-Iowa Missouri, all right? But I've got to roll with Missouri winning this game, and hopefully I'm wrong. But hey, you know me on this channel. I'm not a Homer Simpson. First and foremost, I'm a college football fan, not an Iowa Hawkeye fan. No disrespect to my fellow black and gold Hawkeye fans. I'm just speaking the truth, that I'm going to roll with my head and not my heart. I like final score to be something like Missouri 24, Iowa 16, but it's going to be a very good showing for both programs, win or lose, and I cannot wait to be there. All right, so that's it. That's my 2024 Music City Bowl preview and prediction episode. Please let me know what you think. Like, share, comment below. I can't wait to hear from all of you. Light up that comment section. The floor is yours, and I cannot wait to get back to all of you. And I must say, Happy New Year to all of you. I will be back tomorrow. I do plan on leaving tomorrow late afternoon for Nashville. But before I get on the road, I am going to have my preview and predictions episode for round 2 of the college football playoff matchups that start New Year's Eve and then into New Year's Day. So be looking out for that. So get notifications, subscribe. Can't wait to see you then. So until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, be responsible, peace, prosperity. Sorry, I did not win the Mega Millions. If you're watching, that person out in California, congrats. Just remember us little people at some point. But until then, thanks for joining me on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. I'll see you soon. And as always, go Hawks. Bye-bye.